You're walking home in the woods at night, and everything starts to feel off. The air thickens, every crunch of your step, anxiety and paranoia build up in your gut. You begin to look over your shoulder. You can't help but shake the feeling that something is following you. You turn to look, nothing's there, so you march on. But the feeling persists. You turn to look again, there's nothing there. But what if I told you that you aren't crazy, and there was something behind you, and that when you're in the woods, there's always something behind you, just out of sight, just behind a tree, always out of view. What is this someone or something lurking behind you? That thing is known as the hide-behind. It's the creature that never shows itself until it's far too late. The creature that I just described comes from American folklore from the Great Lakes region. Oh my god, the Great Lakes region. That is hard to say, of the United States. And one thing I want to say about being an American is that we can get a lot of things wrong. We can get our economy wrong. We can get our politics wrong. We can get a lot of things wrong. But one thing that we always do right is folklore, baby. In Europe, you guys have like fairies and Loch Ness monsters and gnomes and stuff, and that's all fine and dandy. But nothing is scarier than United States folklore. It's hard to name one cryptid from the United States that isn't downright horrifying, from the Jersey Devil to the Dog Man, Charlie No Face, Flush Pedestrians, Bigfoot. What we're talking about today actually originates from the loggers of the Great Lakes region in the 1800s when they were, industrially revolutionizing, and all of the lumberjacks were heading out into the forest to get as many big, hard pieces of wood. An era where harvesting lumber was integral to our society's infrastructure, and even maybe more so than it is now, because we relied on things like steam power and building cabins. The creature we're talking about today, which I have mentioned probably 4 times already, is known as the hide-behind. The biggest qualm that I have with the hide-behind as a cryptid is that there are so few stories connected to it. This story originated from the logging area with many other legends like Paul Bunyan. Hey, I can't help but notice, are you a blue ox? Because I'd like to call you babe. The idea behind the hide-behind is very simple. It's always behind you. You cannot see it, and it will rip out your organs. So, we're going 3 for 3 on reputation here. Honestly, I'm living for it. The earliest published recorded tale of the hide-behind was written in a book called Fearsome Critters by Henry H. Tyron. The book, to my knowledge, is fair use, as it has been made public by multiple libraries for read and download online, and also because there is not much known about the author. It was written in 1939, published in 1939 by Henry H. Tyron, and there's virtually nothing known about this book. The book called Fearsome Critters by Tyron is quite literally a Gravity Falls-esque kind of cryptozoology guide that features 1 chapter per creature that has been encountered in the Great Lakes region of the United States. The chapter featuring the hide-behind is only about 2 paragraphs long and reads as follows. The hide-behind, a highly dangerous animal, but owing its intense aversion to the odor of alcohol, never known to attack an inebriate. 1 bottle of Uno beer has proven to be a complete safeguard even in thickly infested country. A biggish beast, standing about 6 feet tall and walking erect, the slender body makes it possible to hide completely behind the bole of a 10-inch tree. The pelt is long, thick, and black, and the tail is carried recurved. Looks like a French sheepdog's. Almost impossible to tell whether the critter is going or coming, and practically hopeless to locate its face, if any. The short, well-muscled forelegs are equipped with grizzly-like claws. Its food is chiefly intestines, leaping from its hiding place with a demoniacal laugh. It swiftly disembowels its victim with 1 swipe. Sometimes the fiendish howl frightens the prey to death before the blow falls. The hide-behind is never found in the open. He always conceals himself behind a tree trunk. His marvelously thick, stealthy gait makes it possible for him to stay constantly behind his prey, no matter how quickly the suspicious victim may spin about in the hope of glimpsing at the marauder. The beast can go 7 years without eating. Okay, so here's what we know, breaking it down. The hide-behind is about as tall as a fairly tall grown man, right at about 6 feet, super skinny, covered in hair, can't see its face, it's got claws, it's muscular, it's sneaky, it's quiet, and it loves the taste of intestines and it hates the smell of beer. Okay, that's oddly specific. Depictions of the hide-behind have started to blossom across different forms of media, like in Harry Potter's spin-off series Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, where J.K. Rowling describes that these kinds of beasts roam North America and they are the cross-breeding of something called a demiguise and a ghoul. And quite frankly, what are you talking about? Come on, get your bigoted British ass out my country's folklore. Go, get on, go. The hide-behind was also depicted in Tales of Pico's Bill, a book published in 1977 called Pico's Bill Catches a Hide-Behind, where he and his good old friend Slewfoot Sue catch a shy hide-behind and donate it to a zoo. Woohoo! Rare animals in captivity! Probably most popular, the most recent kind of depiction of a hide-behind in popular media that kind of piqued people's interest in the legend and the lore of the hide-behind was in Dipper's Guide to the Unexplained, which is a short animation spin-off series of Gravity Falls by Alex Hirsch. And while this is a less accurate depiction of what the hide-behind actually looks like, I think this is a more accurate depiction of what actually could be hiding in the woods. It looks like a tree, so obviously it's gonna be hard to find. But I'm sorry, our boy Tyron says that this thing is only about 6 feet tall and covered in hair. So what's really interesting to me is that all of these pop culture references of the hide-behind have been born of virtually a 2-paragraph excerpt of a book that was written by an author that we know virtually nothing about, from a piece of writing that was published in 1939 with very little details about what was going on. I tried to find out more about Henry H. Tyron, but aside from a genealogy page where I think I found his birth and death and World War II draft records, there wasn't much about him. There was a little bit of an obituary written about him that said that he was a forest expert that had lived in South Carolina, the Great Lakes region, New York, and his final resting place of Rhode Island. He was notably known for publishing the book known as Fearsome Critters, which his wife Margaret actually illustrated. Shout out to wifey Margaret, who illustrated these cool pictures. And other than he was enthusiastic about forestry and conservation, there's not much about this guy, like, at all. He kind of just doesn't exist, which is crazy because this is folklore that is, prominently represented in media, and I find it weird that the author, we know nothing about him. Now, that's just my results being inconclusive. If anybody else knows anything about Henry H. Tyron, I would be more than happy to redact any statements, but that's just coming from what I've found, which is not a lot. This makes me wonder if that the hide-behind is a work of pure fiction that comes from the mind of Henry Tyron, and he clearly has worked closely in conservation in the forest, and he has written about other legends that are more popular, and this makes me wonder if this is just something that he was inspired to write about, or if that there were legends circulating about the hide-behind prior to Henry Tyron writing this little excerpt in Fearsome Critters. That I don't think we will know. Surely, thinking about folklore, something always behind you isn't really a groundbreaking kind of thought concept. Okay, I feel like it's possible that there were legends circulating about something similar to a hide-behind prior to Tyron's writing about it, but really, Fearsome Critters is the first place I can find this thing recorded. I hope you enjoyed this little mini essay on the history of the hide-behind. If you are interested in more American folklore, I'm thinking about making this a series with lots of different cryptids and creatures and stories that have been told through the generations, so stay tuned for that. You've been watching Melody Ever After. My name is Melody. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time.